Now, let's go over to our Bae Eun-ji once again at our election wall for the latest on the election results. Eun-ji, give us updates.
Sure, Jung-min, the voter turnout for this election reached almost 80%, the highest in 28 years. This shows just how many people made efforts to be engaged in democracy, especially after the country went through 6 months of turmoil sparked by a failed martial law attempt. Much of the votes have now been counted, so let's take a look at the exact numbers. As of 1:30 a.m., more than 80% of the votes have been counted nationwide, and Democratic Party's Lee Jae-myung is now projected to become the next president of South Korea. So far, Lee has earned around 48%, followed by People Power Party Kim Moon-soo with 42.9% and Minor Reform Party Lee Jun-seok with 7.7%. Now let's break this down by region. First off, let's start in Seoul, a battleground region, as this is the most populated area of the country with a lot of independent voters that do not lean toward either the Democratic or Conservative Party. So let's take a look here. Democratic Party's Lee Jae-myung is in the lead by taking more than 46% of the votes there, followed by Kim Moon-soo with 43%. Next off, Busan, a conservative stronghold. More than 90% of the votes have been counted there. Kim Moon-soo is in the lead by taking more than half of the votes, followed by Lee Jae-myung with nearly 40%. Daegu, another conservative stronghold part of the country. Kim Moon-soo is clearly in the lead here by taking more than 70% of the votes, followed by Lee Jae-myung with around 20%. In Incheon, around 70% of the votes are in. Lee Jae-myung is in the lead by taking more than half of the votes here. Kim Moon-soo following with around 40% of the votes. Next, over in Gwangju, a liberal stronghold, more than 85% of the votes are in, and Lee Jae-myung holds a clear lead by taking almost 85% of the votes in Gwangju. Over in Daejeon, this is a battleground region. As of 1:30 a.m., Lee Jae-myung is slightly in the lead by taking 47.6% of the votes, and Kim Moon-soo following closely behind with 42.2%. In Ulsan, this would normally be seen as a conservative stronghold, but surprisingly seems to be a tight race there, with Kim Moon-soo earning 48.9%, followed by Lee Jae-myung with 41.8%. In Sejong, now this is a region where Lee Jae-myung has vowed to transform into the country's administrative capital, and Kim Moon-soo also pledged to build a second presidential office there. So let's take a look there. Lee Jae-myung is in the lead by taking more than half of the votes, followed by Kim Moon-soo with around 34% of the votes. Moving over to Gyeonggi-do province, this is where both Lee Jae-myung and Kim Moon-soo served as the governor in the past. So let's see who's in the lead. More of Gyeonggi-do province voters have voted for Lee Jae-myung, who's taken more than half of the votes, followed by Kim Moon-soo with around 40%. Now over to Gangwon-do province, Kim Moon-soo is slightly in the lead by taking almost 48% of the votes, followed by Lee Jae-myung with 43.7%. Now let's go over to the central part of the country, Chungcheongbuk-do province. This is an important region to look at because it's considered a swing region in South Korea's presidential elections. Candidates who gained more votes in the Chungcheongdo provinces were not always but often elected as the president of South Korea. So let's take a look here. Lee Jae-myung is slightly in the lead by taking more than 46% of the votes, followed by Kim Moon-soo with almost 45%. And in Chungcheongnam-do province, another crucial swing region, Lee Jae-myung is also in the lead by taking almost 47%, Kim Moon-soo with 45% of the votes. Moving over to Jeollabuk-do province, traditionally a liberal stronghold, Lee Jae-myung is outperforming Kim Moon-soo by taking more than 83% of the votes. Jeollanam-do province, another region with many liberal voters, Lee Jae-myung again taking the lead with more than 86% of the votes, followed by Kim Moon-soo with a little more than 8%. Next, in Gyeongsangbuk-do province, this is a conservative stronghold. Kim Moon-soo is in the lead by taking more than 65% of the votes, following Lee Jae-myung with 25%. Gyeongsangnam-do province, Kim Moon-soo again is in the lead by taking more than half of the votes here, followed by Lee Jae-myung with almost 40%. Last but not least, over in Jeju, 77% of the votes have been counted here. Lee Jae-myung is also in the lead by taking more than 55% of the votes, and Kim Moon-soo more than 30% of the votes. So it appears that Lee Jae-myung has won the 21st presidential election, becoming the next president of South Korea. But stay tuned as we will be bringing you the final results on this election later on. Jung-min.